everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Paul, and this is Ola Prime's Market News Update. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent mentioned today that regulatory reforms are needed for the U.S. financial system, referencing dual capital requirements for banks that could slow growth in the U.S. economy due to reduced lending. Also, the U.S. dollar faltered a bit today amid falling Treasury yields as U.S. trade deal uncertainties continued. The August 1st tariff deadline looms in wake, with headlines stating we could see more tariff letters before the August 1st deadline. In other news relating, gold broke out of its 3-week range on the renewed tariff worries. Today, as futures traded upwards of 1.6% to 34.10 per ounce. Silver also traded up by 1.9% and is currently trading at $39.25 per ounce US dollars. JPY USD rebounded nicely today, gaining about 0.9% and currently trading at 146.50. This level on the daily time frame was support until the recent sell-off these past 2 months and could act as resistance going forward. Something to watch. The Euro USD went up 0.6%, closing at 1.1739 today, as these trade tensions weigh on the USD. Now, CAD USD followed a similar path to the euro, strengthening by 0.3% in today's trading session, closing at roughly 0.7329. You might be starting to see a trend here as the GBP USD fared well, trading up about 0.56%. Lastly, the Swiss franc gained about 0.5% against the US dollar, closing at 1.2623. The New Zealand dollar fared the worst of the major currency pairs, up about 0.15% on the day as trade imports and exports data came in a bit lackluster than expected. And to round out the currency news, Bitcoin futures are relatively unchanged going back to Friday, July 17th, and it's currently trading at about 117,600 US dollars per coin, as US equity markets broke all-time highs again today, but closed a little bit down. Tomorrow morning, there are 2 news events worth noting. Jerome Powell is scheduled to give the opening remarks at the Integrated Review of the Capital Framework for Large Banks conference at 8:30 a.m. This is expected to have a medium impact on the trading day. And also, the Richmond Manufacturing Index monthly data will be released at 10 a.m. EST, which will give us a relative gauge on the health and performance of the U.S. manufacturing in the 5th Federal Reserve District. The data is expected to rebound a little this month compared to last. Now, without further ado, it's time for our Quiet Markets live trading session with myself and Coach Tiger. So let's get to it, guys.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, what's
What's
going
going
on? How you
on?
doing today? Another beautiful day.
Good,
Can you hear
man.
me okay?
Doing. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this new light
Awesome.
out. Seems like it's so bright it's blinding out my background, isn't it? Holy cow.
I mean, it looks good to me. Yeah, it looks pretty. Oh wow, yeah, it does look a little bit bright on your face.
Yeah,
But I mean, hey,
trying to
no
figure out which
shadow.
setting. That's the cold light. I like it better warm, I think. Yeah. How's that look?
Looks good, man.
All right, good deal. I'll
Oh,
play around with the settings,
so
especially once it gets darker here, but happy Monday.
yeah, man.
How was your
Happy
trading
Monday, dude. It was good. It flew by for me. The day really flew by. It felt like I basically finished just flat on the day after a few trades, but I'll take flat versus being down, so that's okay.
day?
And it was an interesting day for sure. How about you?
Yeah. Typical slow Monday. Yeah, I don't usually do a lot on Mondays trade wise, other than just monitoring trades that I left open over the weekend. I had a couple pretty decent ones on Friday, and they were up pretty big, so I just let them run, just because I felt like I had earned the right to hold it. And I closed one on Friday because it had only gained about 15, 20 pips or so. So I decided to close it, and I'm glad I closed that one because it gapped down on the Sunday open. So yeah, I'll happily take that 20 or 30 bucks or whatever that I paid that I got. Um,
Yeah,
and then other than that, I left open the pound dollar Swiss. Of course, obviously today, pound's been gaining some strength, and that one actually stopped me out for a small loss, 0.3%, just something tiny I got into. And then Swiss Japanese yen, same thing. We had some Japanese strength right off the bat, and it it took away all my gains, put me in the red. But it's trying to curl around and rebound as well. But man, I was like, what in the world's going on? But it's because of the. I'm assuming it's because of the election stuff that they had over in Japan. It just caused the yen and the Nikkei to just go wild there for a little while, and yeah, right before the stream started, I was just looking at the Nikkei and it just flew up like crazy, like 1.5% in like not even 30 minutes. So, yeah, probably a combination of that. Maybe Japan, they're pretty bad about intervention on their markets and currencies. So, might be a combination of that, just trying to calm it down a little bit. But yeah, the
yeah,
Nikkei,
yeah,
it's going wild. And then Ethereum, man, I know last week was crypto week, and yeah, it seems like all the cryptos are up pretty big. And I think I saw where Ethereum was up 60% in the last calendar month. So, I mean, yeah, it's just
Y-
looking really good.
yeah, man. I haven't. I need to pay more attention. I think to crypto. It's like it's something that I don't dabble in much, but especially with meeting our coach Paul Pico and whatnot, and having some sessions with him and everything. He really
Right.
he got me more interested, and I need to keep more tabs aside from just like knowing what Bitcoin is doing essentially, and it's very
Hmm.
interesting, honestly. So I
Yeah, me
definitely
too.
think
And
I
he's
gotta.
really good. He's really good on the coins. Yeah, I was observing that too. A couple streams I had with him. Yeah, we got a lot to learn
Yeah,
from the different coaches, right? We're here to teach, but we're students of the game and learning ourselves, right? It's just a
yeah,
never ending learn
100%, man.
fest.
Exactly. The more you know, the less you know. That's exactly the motto that I go by.
Well, yeah.
So, you know. Mhm.
The more yeah, mine is similar. It's the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. Or it's just like reading books. The more I read, the more I realize I need to read, type of thing.
uh, exactly, dude. 100%. And
You know.
but yeah, I mean, the with the yen today. I was gonna say in my news report that I was just doing, there
Mhm.
was a little bit of a little bit of a hiccup there on the news report, some technical difficulties in the middle of it,
Yeah,
but I'm getting those ironed out.
you got around
But
it well. Yeah.
but yeah, but the yen, like what I was mentioning with the currency pairs, like the dollar was just like kind of putrid against almost everything today. I was
Yeah.
looking at the charts, and um, how did you see how like the yen did against other currencies aside from the US dollar? Like, did it do good because of everything that's going on there with the election? Did it do well against like any other major pairs or anything? Or
Well, let's take a quick look at the charts. Back end, if you want to pull up my chart, yeah, we'll just go through a couple things. We'll go through the
oh, cool,
Japanese
sweet.
index. Yeah, so just looking at the Japanese index itself, as far as I should say the yen currency index. Yeah, I mean, it's just had a little bit. It's just been going kind of crazy, and the futures, the yen futures look similar, but gigantic spike up, came back down, and now we're gapping up again as far as the index. And then if we look at the Japanese futures market, which I don't trade futures, but I still like to keep an eye on it. I kind of keep an eye on it
Yeah,
as well as the currency indexes or indexes, however you want to say that. But it's pretty much a carbon copy. I mean, we had this gigantic spike last week on the 16th on Wednesday. Big, gigantic VSA candle that you can see at the bottom there. So, I mean, it just spiked hardcore. And that I
mm.
believe was right before. Wasn't that before they had their little election? I think that was Thursday or Friday, wasn't it, for Japan?
I, I
I can't
believe I
remember.
believe so. I believe it was on
Thursday,
Friday, but
Thursday or Friday. So clearly somebody knew something about it because they came in the day before, the day
yeah,
before, and scooped up futures contracts on the yen. So yeah, there's no such thing as insider trading, is there?
definitely not. No,
No,
that never
not
happened.
at all.
They
Um,
didn't make that a law. They didn't make that a law because nobody did it or anything. They
of course not. Never. But yeah, that's a little about the price action there. Dixie was the exact reverse as far as the DX, the dollar futures. Hard spike down, recover, but it's now going down again. So it's just the complete inverse of the yen futures. And then I imagine the
yeah,
Dixie itself, the actual index, is probably going to look pretty similar. Yeah, there's the index. So pretty much carbon copies when you're looking at the futures the futures market versus the indices for each of those currencies. But as far as the Nikkei, and I'll get to the currencies for the yen here in a second. Yeah, we had this really hard spike just a little while ago. I mean, look at that. That thing just went ape. You know what? There for 15 minutes, we had ape mierda. 15 minutes flew up 1%. I mean, that's in the currencies in currency land, that's quite a bit. So, and then it's of
yeah,
course recovering. So, look at all the volume though. We got something happening right now. It's definitely not a calendar event. So, again, Japan, they're very notorious for manipulating their currency. Intervention they call it. So, it could be that.
right.
Maybe that's their way of reacting to the election. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see. But the only thing we can do is just observe price, and once it kind of calms down, find a play. So, just taking a look at my top setups, I'm just looking to see fundamentally. Yeah, fundamentally, I do have two Japanese yen pairs still in my top setups. So I do have the Swiss franc Japanese yen as a bullish score of a 7. So as always, when I follow the fundamentals and add everything together, if it's giving me a 5 or higher, it's a bullish bias. And then
mm,
-5 or less is a bearish bias. So yeah, trying to pair the yen with something. I got the Swiss yen at 7. I got the Euro yen at 5. So the only one I'm really interested in at the moment is the Swiss yen. Well, I'm actually in a trade for that. So that's the one that I'm currently trying to claw back. And I'm just going to flip over real quick to my other platform. And there it is. So this is the one I got into on Friday. I got in right here where that arrow is. So price, it doesn't look as good on GUI trades, but on my other platform, I was looking at a 2-hour demand zone right in this area. So, and I had missed the trade, the initial trade. And I think that was because I was asleep. Yeah. So I missed the initial trade. It kind of bounced off of, well, I guess I'll just draw it out. It would have basically been this area right in here.
Mhm.
Get over here. Right in that area. So um, it had went through. So, if I would have just gotten in on a limit order, it would have obviously stopped me out. So I just waited
Right.
because I knew that we had all that craziness from the, um, what was that? The potential firing of Powell, and then they came out and said, "No, psych, no, we're not." So that's the same time that hit the zone. So I thought, well, I'm just going to let the volume kind of calm itself down a little bit, because that big green candle down here, volume candle, that's basically where it all came out, 10 a.m. on the 16th. So I thought, well, I'm just going to let all this kind of simmer down, get the volume back down to normal, and then I'll try to make a breakout trade of this high point right here. So more of a momentum, and give it a wide stop loss, because I knew there was a chance I might be holding it over the weekend. So yeah, I
Mhm.
did. I ended up giving it was at about a little over 100 pip range as far as stop loss. So a lot wider than I normally do. But again, I didn't know what was going to. I didn't know how the rest of the week was going to go because of all those rumors that people were going crazy over. So anyway, I bought a
Yeah.
breakout of this area right in here. Actually, right here. I'm sorry. And then price immediately went against me, but it recovered. And by the time Friday ended, and Friday was what, the 18th? Yeah, Friday ended up.
Mhm.
So I was up pretty good on this trade at one point. It was about 300, I think 306, $306 by the time the intraday market closed. And then Sunday, I mean, it just gapped down like crazy. It gapped down about 80, 90 pips, or maybe it was right at 100 pips.
Mhm.
But then we had that nice, wick underneath the 1 hour candle. And I thought, well, maybe we'll just get a little bit of a recovery. I mean, there we go. There's a 30-minute. I think it looked even better on the 15. Look down here. Yeah. So I saw this 15-minute candle. I thought, well, that's a very bullish candle. It's red, but it closed right at about 80%, of the top, towards the top, 80% of the candle. So I thought, okay, well, maybe that'll help me recover. So I'm not so deep in the red. And sure enough, it did. It ended up closing pretty much all that gap. But as soon as it did that, yeah, it looked like the sellers stepped back in and just been pushing it back down. Now, I mean, I'm obviously hoping we can break this high point right here and get a close up here. That would make me feel good about, see if we get a nice curl back around like it belongs. The reason is because, again, it's given me a 7 score on my fundamentals and sentiment. Uh, the big
Yeah.
banks and institutions favored the Swiss franc over the Japanese yen, so they bought they bought francs and they sold off on their yen futures contracts. So that's a bullish sign for this pair. And retail traders, they are net short on this pair. So again, I observe the masses and do the opposite. That's just one other point that I gave it. Good on seasonality, good on trend, positive, favoring the franc over the yen as well on the manufacturing PMI, the CPI, and then a whole bunch of neutral scores for the rest of the things I track on, inflation reports, interest rates, all that. But I thought, well, okay, I'm not going to just bail out of this. I'm just going to let it do its thing. I mean, I'm going to see if we can get a nice little curl around. I mean, I'm looking at it on a higher time frame anyway. You look at it on a 4-hour chart, it's just been going up pretty nice. So obviously kind of going sideways over the last week. But, I kind of look at that as, buying low on the curve, because I'm observing this range bound movement here. And, if I'm buying down here in this bottom area, that's low on the curve. So I thought, well,
Yeah.
we'll just try to treat it as a breakout trade and see how it goes. Now we did get a lower high on Friday. So I don't like that. So that's definitely not helping the narrative. But
Yeah.
again, I'm just gonna trust the fundamentals. I mean, with me doing these longer term trades, they tend to work themselves out. You have to go sometimes through days of sideways action or some drawdown, but ultimately, you know, uh, I quite like going for 150, 200 pip profits like that. I mean, I do a lot better on that than the very, very short term scalping, if that makes sense. So give me one
Right.
good trade a week, two good trades a week. Obviously, I show the same methods on a smaller time frame, because there's a lot of shorter term traders watching the show, because the methods do transfer. I just like them better on the higher time frames. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and, let that be. So, yeah. And again, that's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
about a 0.5% risk I put on that or so. But then, yeah, so that's that. And then going back over here to the yen pairs. Let me see. So here's the dollar yen. So as always, I got the daily on the right, 4 hour on the left. So if I just flip that to 4 hours, yeah, I mean, it looks very much like the index, very much like the futures. So it's just a lot of crazy
Mhm.
sideways action on a higher time frame. For me to get interested in the dollar yen as an example, well, first of all, the fundamentals have to come around, because I'm not getting a bullish bias when it comes to the fundamentals.
Mhm.
It is obviously on an uptrend if you're looking at it ever since, well, the start of the month. I mean, it's just been up. But yeah, once we got up to this area, as you can see, it's just going crazy. That right there is the rumor. That was the Powell rumor right here. And then things kind of calmed down. And yeah, now we got the yen, the Nikkei, or the Japanese government, playing funny, doing something, because now we're getting another drop on the dollar yen, which is obviously strength for the yen itself. So yeah, I'm just going to basically wait
Yeah.
on this pair. Give me a break out to the top side, or if I can get a deeper retracement down here to this area, this 144.60 level. I love that area because it is a daily demand zone. But within that daily demand zone, there's a 4 hour demand zone. That's my favorite confluence. I just love it.
Yeah.
So last red candle down before a bunch of green candles. Yeah, that's
I
that's
do
my
love the
favorite
four
place. So
hour time frame. I do love the four
yeah,
hour
so
time frame myself. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's great. So I just need that confluence for me to get interested at all in the yen or the dollar yen pair specifically. And plus,
Yeah.
that's a little deeper. It's a little less than the 61. It's down in what they call the kill zone. The kill zone is basically your 71 to 88 level. It's a really deep retracement. I usually like to use that on the smaller time frames, but I just have it as a kind of that's my default setting on my fibs. I want to keep an eye on that. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be interested though, like I said, just because fundamentals aren't lining up. But it's really all about the Swiss Jap right now. Just trying to monitor that trade. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, pound yen, same thing. Getting some crazy sideways action. I do have another 4 hour zone within a daily down below. But again, those fundamentals just aren't lining up. I'll just show the other one then, Euro Jap. So that's the other one that is on my list, and it's going to look
Yeah.
similar,
Definitely.
obviously. But yeah, so I'm looking at this 4 hour zone down here. You got this low point, you got this low point, you got the current low point. All these buyers, they're all putting their stop losses in this area. So,
Mm.
the way I see it, I want to see the big banks start manipulating this price, come down and scoop up this liquidity down here, and then drop down into my unfilled orders for a buy to the long side. So that's really the only play I see. Now, if this play shapes up, then regardless of where my Swiss yen trade is, I would probably exit the Swiss yen, because I like this one better. It's got a deeper discount. It's a lot cheaper, compared compared to
Right.
where I got in on the yen. So, and not only that, when I put on a trade, yes, I mean, I'll leave them open for a week, maybe a week and a half, but I prefer that a trade make its move, within that first couple of days. If we're starting to get into
Yeah.
day 3, day 4, barely moved, then I'm starting to get bored with it. But
Right.
like I said,
Right.
it's nice that I have another yen pair that is giving me a bullish bias. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
kind of my thinking on that. I really do like that area. Pretty good, you know, yellow VSA candle right there. So pretty good spike as well.
Yeah.
So I like that. But yeah, most importantly, and this is what's important for all of my supply and demand zones, and I probably don't explain this well enough now that I think about it, but I do want to see some low points before price drops down to my zone. In other words, if it just goes up and then straight down, I'm not as excited about it because there hasn't
Yeah.
been any, sideways price manipulation on some of these smaller time frames, which is what I use my master pattern indicator for.
Okay.
Contraction point. There's quite a few of them in there, but the idea is banks obviously there's a good one on the 2 hour time frame. So contraction point, buyers and sellers are fighting each other, or they're in agreement, however you want to look at it. The banks are watching to see which direction this thing goes. So it leaves the box to the top side. Actually, it runs right into a supply zone as well. So the banks will flip it the other way, drop price below
Yeah.
that box, collect some more liquidity. So we've basically went on above the box and below the box. So that's those expansion legs that I like to see. Ultimately, we never know how many expansion legs it's going to be before the trend phase actually kicks in. So that's just where you kind of have to have an educated guess. So after this manipulation is over, I'm hoping that they push price down, collect all this liquidity, and then drop it right down into the demand zone and collect those unfilled orders to buy to the long side. So
Right.
that's the that's the only other play I have right now for the yen itself. But again, if that comes down, I'm out of the Swiss yen jumping into
Yeah.
this because I don't like to double up my risk. I don't like to double up my risk on any two currency pairs for the same currency. That's just the way I play it.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm sure that relatively I feel like makes sense. And I actually never thought about that. I never thought about like, being in multiple currency pairs that have one side of the equation being the same
Right.
part of it. So I never thought about, oh, well, I'm in a JPY trade, a JPY euro trade, and a JPY, New Zealand trade or something. And, the
Mm,
fact that there might be, I don't know what the observed correlations are, if there are any, but relatively speaking,
yeah.
that makes sense. I never thought about that. That shows how much
Now
of a
on
Forex
that note,
trader I am. Zero.
well, no, there's no. I mean, listen, I'm 12 years in, and there's still nuances I'm learning every day when it comes to the forex market specifically. But now that's just the way I do it. But there are some traders, and I actually follow a guy on YouTube that does this. But if like let's just say the euro yen, the pound yen, and the Aussie yen all hit a zone at the same time, rather than putting all of his position size on one pair, he'll actually spread it out to two or three. So he'll just decrease the risk maybe
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
a third per pair. So it's his way of kind of just kind of what's the word, hedging, I guess you could say, to see which
Yeah.
currency in fact takes off. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
there's
He's
a
just
couple ways
spreading
to
out the
do
risk.
spreading out the risk amongst two or three currencies versus just one. So but yeah, that's a little more advanced stuff. I personally haven't engaged in it because now if I do have two or three different currencies that are coming down, then some I don't I like to see them all hit a zone at the same time just to have confluence across two or three currency pairs. I like to see that because you know chances are when you have two pairs hit a zone at the same time or three, that's just even more confluence that they would overall make that bounce off that zone. So again, it's a little more in-depth stuff, but yeah, whenever I do have them, two or three coming down, I like to look for that, and then not
Yeah.
to mention the indexes themselves. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
just a
No,
little bit of
definitely.
I do. Um, as far
Well,
as
I will say
mhm.
real quick on the live chat, Eric said hey to us and wishing us a great
Hey Eric,
session, and but he might not be on anymore. But just hey Eric, if you are there, thanks for checking in. Also, Wakar saying stopping in the chat. Hey man, how's it going? And Andrelic said good night, guys. I guess he's hopping off. So appreciate you stopping in at least and saying hi. And yeah, we'll be getting into some trades here. I think I'll definitely be getting into a trade here soon. I think I'm going to get into a gold trade at some point soon. Real quick, I'll let you
yeah.
know when I do.
Yeah,
I'm
let me know.
feeling like
You kick me off.
the, yeah, no, the short side, it feels like it honestly feels like gold. When I'm looking at gold right now, maybe I'll just share my screen right now, actually, real quick, if that's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go right ahead.
Real quick.
We got 2 hours.
Um, yeah, exactly. You got it. Um, so once it's switched over here, I'll kind of go through my little explanation.
Oh,
Get the production guys to switch over.
yeah, I got a couple alerts on gold on small higher time frames. It's another one that's been going crazy today.
It really today was pretty wild, and I wasn't really paying attention to it when it started ripping. Like at when I was trading the opening, the New York Open. When it really
Mm-hmm.
started ripping, I was just not paying attention to it. And then by the time it had ripped, I looked at it. I was like, ah, dang it. But now it's kind
Yep.
of done a little on the 5 minute here. In the overnight, it's kind of double topped at 34.16, and it's going down a little bit now. On the
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing is when I can't show a market profile chart, unfortunately, since I have to do it through a different third-party software. But um, on the market profile chart, what I'm seeing from gold's trading session today is what we would call like a poor high. And poor highs, relatively speaking, are just in my experience, they are like magnets. So it's when the auction essentially 2 30-minute periods within the auction day touch the high and then back off. And what that
Mm-hmm.
usually means is some people look at it as like a double topping of sorts. But what you can also look at it as is that like the auction essentially didn't complete itself, where we got to genuinely see like a thorough auction occur, where there was a defined uh, best price and like a defined worst price is the best way to put it. So usually
Mm-hmm.
like a completed auction will have a little bit of a tail to the upside and a little bit of a tail to the downside. So point being is the low is definitive and the high is definitive. So when we see poor highs, usually what auctions like to do in subsequent sessions is revisit them to trade through it and just get an understanding of where the value is in that area. It might jump
Mm-hmm.
through it and then just completely reject. And then the auction is finished or completed. Sometimes it doesn't happen for like a week. Sometimes it happens in 2 days. Sometimes it happens the next day. It just depends. It's not a definitive thing that occurs in any sort of time period. But with that being said, today we kind of have that situation where we have a poor high that forms, but at the same time, um, of what I'm looking at the overnight session here on the 5 minute charts, I have these small like 21 period EMAs and 50 period EMAs. Basically, the VWAP of the session and the EMAs are now crossing each other and trending down. And I'm thinking, on the session it traded on yesterday or today's session, it traded from 33 gold traded from 33.86 to 34.16. Maybe what we do is we see kind of like a little digestion period where we come back down into the middle of that range, maybe closer to like 33.98, or that's roughly where like the value area low of the day was. So within the 70% of the trading, that's where the low of that was, 33.98. I'm thinking maybe I would
Mm-hmm.
take a short into that area before then support maybe might be found, and subsequent and just in a not like a in the sort of confluence of sorts here at 9:30 during the New York session open. Let's just expand this a little bit more. 33.98 is roughly, so when it was 9 o'clock, 9:30, we opened right here, and then we broke out of this little area in the pre-market of the New York session, and then when we opened, we broke out of that area. So 33.98 might be a good area where gold buyers and sellers were kind of comfortable, and then buyers just took over. So maybe we kind of revisit this general area, 3402 to 33.96, maybe somewhere in that area. I mean, we're already close to that at this point. We're at 3405, so it's not like we're super far off of it. I don't have anything that's super strong to like short at the moment, but my thought is if we like pop up to one of these like shorter term EMAs, I might just take a little stab at it long on a micro
Mm.
gold for a further move down. There's not a whole lot to go off on the overnight sessions, so I'm basically going to be looking at the order flow on the heat map with whatever order flow does exist, and just kind of go from there. So that's kind of my thoughts on gold real quick. And then the only other thing that I see that's got a little bit of action right now is the M&Q, and it kind of looks good. Looks pretty good. I need to check out. Oh,
And that's
Andre
level two.
LC is still here. Cool. Cool. Good to see you, man. Thanks for staying on with us.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Sorry.
That's level two that you're looking at when you talked about order flow. Is that right? Or is that something else?
Uh,
Level two data?
yeah, yeah. So I'm looking at level 2 data, and then I'm also looking at I'm looking at volume profile with level 2 data.
No,
Yeah,
volume
it's like
profile.
a
Yeah.
depth of just the depth of market essentially. Depth of market combined with volume profile. We just There was just a lot of buying that just occurred on the Nasdaq. There was a big order of man. There was an offer on the Nasdaq. There was an offer of 170 contracts, and
Mm-hmm.
bids came in of dang, that's large for overnight, to be quite honest. Only problem
Well, there you
is this
go.
range that we were in the overnight here, this range between the cash close and now, we're at the top end of it, which,
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest, if I'm a buyer, I mean, I'm not trying to buy at the top end of this range, especially when
Right.
a ton of bidders just came in and could be now trapped, and sellers could just push them down and stop them out. So
That's right.
unfortunately, that would have been a
Too high on the
good
curve.
trade. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been a good trade maybe like 30 minutes ago, but we're gonna have to hold back on that one because that would just be irresponsible and just in terms of like an
Yeah.
execution standpoint. Not that it's not gonna maybe resolve to the upside at some point, but there might be a better risk to reward area that we can get into, not be super impatient with it. And yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll keep an eye on that. I'll make sure to keep an eye on that one for sure.
Yeah, I never had a ton of success on breakout orders like that myself. So I love
Yeah.
buying low on the curve. Give me that discount. I always say, give me crab legs on discount. Crab legs half off. 'Cause otherwise, you're
Yeah,
buying some
man. And
expensive crab legs up there.
yeah, and I'm not that guy either. And I'm not just like most. I am not one to have this mindset from just being like all knowing. Like I learned that through being wrong. So
Yeah.
I
Oh, for
learned
sure.
that
Yeah.
through in the past. I basically, there were times where I had just like a different mindset, like, begin in the beginning of my trading career a while ago, where I thought like breakout trading, had its scalping opportunities and whatever. And then I just started like diving into my own trades and the data and stuff. And I was like, this is just a low probability, and like it just wasn't a good trade, at least for my style personally. So there's also like an emotion that usually attaches itself to breakout trades, where it's almost like an inherent fear of missing out emotion that you might get too, which I don't like to subscribe to at all. I don't like the feeling of I might miss this, I need to get in. I don't like any sort of essence of that. And and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so but there are people that are super like successful with breakout trades, and power to them. Honestly, it's just for me, I'm just like you. I like to see the discount on the crab legs, and I like to see the confluence coming about at lower levels,
Yeah.
showing support, order flow showing that buyers are stepping in massively at those lower levels, and they won't let it go lower. I can get in at a better price where my risk is super mitigated for a pretty
Right.
decent reward. So
Yeah.
that's always the
I do
goal.
have to. I do have to admit though, the only time I have done fairly decent at breakout trades is on the cheap junk penny stocks, because you're working with a different set of people. You're
Yes.
typically not dealing with an institution, because they just can't come down that low, and of course they got their regulations. But yeah, you're literally just dealing with just about everybody being retail traders. So with penny stocks, you can find out which ones are the most heavily shorted. Well, when you get a breakout trade on a double top or previous day or whatever, man, our slogan in penny stock land was sucking them shorts and smoke them fools, because that's what happens when you're buying buying the breakouts on penny stocks. The low float ones, I mean, stuff that's like 10 million outstanding shares or less, the stuff that just moves quick. You got to time it just right. But man, when you do, that's literally all you're doing. You're just smoking the shorts, because especially when they heavily
Yes.
short them, you just need one good push through on the breakout side, and it's off to the races. But I don't advise anybody watching to jump into penny stocks, because it's something that you definitely don't want to start off with. But once you've had several years of experience and you want to go dabble with something with some play money, that maybe that might be a better time, if ever. But it's the best adrenaline rush ever, getting into
Oh
those trades, because they
man,
move 300-400%, 500%
it's
sometimes
crazy.
in less than half an hour. It's crazy, but it can
Yeah,
go against you just as
but
quick. So
you are so right though. You are like that genuinely is an exception. Low float or low liquidity
yeah,
assets that don't have as many eyes on them
right,
is an
exactly.
undoubted exception. Like that is genuinely where the breakout trade is, where you can make a bunch
Mhm.
of money. You're
That's the
like
only one I
totally
can think
right
of.
for
Yeah,
yeah. No,
I mean,
yeah, no. So it's true.
I've got some millionaire penny stock traders. That's all they do. That's all they do. They place one or two penny stock trades throughout the day, and that's about it. Just a couple. I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
so I've seen how it's done, but yeah, it's it
It's a
takes a
world.
special person to do it. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. So
100%.
definitely don't advise it. Again, I want to reiterate that for anybody watching. You
Yeah.
definitely want to learn good sound methods that are repeatable over and over. That don't cause you to
Mhm.
lose your heart, pretty much.
R- Yeah, yeah. And even like I will say it does yeah, I genuinely think that it really does essentially only exist. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the only vehicles that really I feel like do well are the penny stocks for the breakout trades, because even when I think about it and I'm saying like low liquidity, low flow, not a whole lot of eyes on them, but even when you look
Mhm.
at like other products like that have that kind of those traits, for example, you're looking at like a commodity that like you're looking at milk futures or something, or you're looking at orange juice futures, or you're looking at just any kind of futures product where the liquidity is and open interest are like low essentially. Even those are like doing breakout trades is not something like I would advise personally, because you can have like, even though they're lower open interest and everything, you can have a commercial player in the actual cash market that just will sit with a huge iceberg order to like fill
Yeah.
actual like physical demand, like to hedge physical demand that they
Mhm.
have, that they're buying and selling like at certain levels. So like it's not like you can just breakout trade,
Right.
400 contracts of OJ and get away with it. It's like number one, you probably don't
Right.
have the initial margin to do So, and then
Yeah.
and then yeah, so it's just different.
Yeah,
But
you're
and
competing with the institutions, exactly. But yeah, they don't screw around with the pink sheets and the OTCs, the junk the junk stocks, right?
yeah,
But they are kind of fun. They are fun to play with.
yeah. Yeah, oh, of course, for sure. And like I'm a commodity futures junkie. I just love learning about different commodities and whatnot in the futures markets. And but unfortunately, that kind of trading for those less paid attention to commodities, I don't even think that that trading strategy will work. But yeah, nonetheless, that's a fun topic to discuss. That was a I haven't talked
Yeah,
about breakout trades and penny stocks, and I
yeah,
don't remember the last time I talked about
yeah.
that with somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But yeah, so
I was having fun doing it, but that's back when I was doing I had other commitments, another job or two. So, I couldn't just sit there on my computer all day and do that. So that's when I really started getting deeper into the longer term stuff that I could place my orders in the morning, check it at breaks, check it at lunch, whatever. And then obviously after
yeah,
work in the currency world. So, but yeah, now that I've got that ironed out and doing, well on the higher time frames, it's like, I do have a lot of time on my hands throughout the day. Should I maybe get a small penny stock account again? I don't know. Probably
hey
not.
man,
It, it's
hey if you
fun.
there's no saying. I mean, you're a seasoned trader, so I don't think it would be necessarily a terrible thing for you to give it a go with the experience that you have and whatnot. And I'm sure
Hmm.
you I mean, you understand the risk like profile of those things and how to navigate them. So, hey, if you wanted to give it a go, I wouldn't hold it against you to be quite
Yeah.
honest. But
Yeah. I mean,
that's
because
just
when it comes to the smaller time frames, I mean, I'm still learning some of that stuff. To be honest with you, I mean, like I watch what you guys do on the futures show, so I mean, I'm writing some of those
yeah.
things down with your volume profile and how you use that. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I'll probably end up getting into some more of that type of trading as well. But
Yeah, and
keep it safe.
so yeah, and like with the volume profile, what's funny is like when you watch the sessions with me and Daryl and like me, Daryl, and Sam mostly are the ones like showing our like how we trade volume profile. Troy uses it as well, but
Mhm.
we haven't gone into it as much with him. But like he knows all about it, and I know he uses it to some degree at the minimum.
Mhm.
But me and Sam and Daryl are like just
You're like
geeks
two,
about like volume
three peas in
volume.
a pod. You're like totally synced, and everything. It's fun to watch.
We use different we use it differently, which is kind of funny because it's funny the way that
Yeah.
Daryl trades with volume profile is different than the way that Sam trades with volume profile, and then like I trade similarly to Sam in the way I use volume profile, but then I have my own like auct theory stuff that I combine, and there's with it. But then what's funny is that Daryl has his own auction market theory stuff that he combines with it, but doesn't use it in the same way that I use with it with volume
Yeah.
profile. So it's hilarious that we all have like our separate strategies, but using all,
Mhm.
all the same stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just funny.
Well, Richard, because of course I'm on with Richard and Michael in the mornings. Yeah, this morning we all picked the same exact spot, and I don't remember which asset it was, but we all picked the exact same buy point, and we just do it different ways. I look for my demand zones. Michael looks for his reloads and his M patterns or W patterns, depending on the direction, and a couple things cross. And then Richard, he uses a lot of market geometry and pitchforks and that kind of things. But we all three picked the exact same spot to buy whatever it was we were looking at, but three completely, totally different methods. So
Yeah, that's
it's just cool that you can pick the same point, not even using the same methods. So there's just more.
yeah.
There's a lot of ways to do it. Come to the same point, basically. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. And like with like what's funny is the way that like Coach Jarrell will trade the current session volume profile where he does like low volume nodes. He uses like low volume nodes as areas that you can like, I mean, basically anywhere where low volume is, if price revisits that area and like breaks into it, it's likely going to trade through it really
Mhm.
quickly. We all know that because it's just not an area that is well
Right.
received by buyers or sellers, and it wants to get down
Right.
to another area of comfort where more volume trades. So he trades like using those low volume versus high volume nodes to get in and out of like momentum and trend and stuff like that. Where I kind of used to do something similar in the commodities markets a while ago, but I stopped doing it because I wasn't like, it wasn't a sound thing for the way that I traded. Like when I would try to get into those kinds of semantics, it was like difficult for me to execute properly. So I just like abandoned it in general, but he's
Right.
really good at it. So it's like, I can't execute the way he executes. And that's why I always, especially in like the coaching video that I did with Ola Prime, I mention it in like, cause I golf, and I mention it a bit where I say
Mhm.
like how execution is half of the game as well. So like when it comes to the trading itself, like psychology aside, obviously psychology is a humongous portion of trading. But when it comes to just the charts themselves and pushing the buy and sell button, you've got like the reason why you want to get into a trade, but then executing is like so underrated. Like you can be right all you want, but like the difference between executing like super precisely and all right can be 1 or 2x your reward. Like you can,
Yeah.
instead of getting a 2-to-1, you can now get a 1-to-1 because of your lack of an ability to execute like your plan tells you should be able to.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe lack of
and
conviction, possibly. Yep.
right, yeah, like any sort of hesitation or like misunderstanding
Yep.
within, you made a perfect analogy of it the last session that we did with the being like a quarterback and trying to make you got to
Yeah.
process this stuff quickly and execute quickly, because if not, you're gonna get intercepted or fumbled or what, or it's gonna be a 5 yard gain instead of a 10 yard gain. It's like such a good
Hmm.
analogy. um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and as I'm saying that, and I talk about, and I was talking about how we got up to the top of this range here, on the NQ, and that it wasn't a good entry
Hmm.
point, and I don't want to play
Yeah.
the breakout trade. Now it's breaking out, and you know what, I got to
Yeah.
live with that, because guess what, generally speaking, I'm going to say 7 times out of 10 that wouldn't have gone my way, and I'm okay with
Exception, not
not
the
betting on
rule.
that
Yeah.
30%. Yeah, so
Exception, not the rule.
uh,
That's right.
it's unfortunate, and especially because I want to be getting in trades for the viewers in the night sessions. That not
Right.
only are they good experience and fun, but I'm also not going to abandon my trading rules to try and just get a trade on. So,
You're
but
right.
yeah, so now that's the MQ. Let's see what gold is doing now, and of course, gold looks like it. Dang it, man! It didn't even actually get up
It's
to where I
dropping.
wanted it to in order to. So like I was talking about, like I wanted to get into a short in gold earlier, and I needed to
Hmm.
see it bounce up a little bit. I wanted to see it get up to this 50 period, honestly, to feel any sort of comfort in getting into the short, and then I could put my stop above the VWAP essentially. It didn't even get to that. It got to the 21 period EMA, and then it consolidated and broke down. So not like a huge miss, but it will be pretty funny if it gets into that like 3398 area and then bounces, just like I was saying it could possibly. But
Well,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll look at the depth of market here on gold and see
the
if anything is
Dom.
screaming at me. Yeah, see if anything is screaming to get short. Because honestly, it would have to be like a cheap short where I essentially get in closer to like 3402 and I risk like to 3403 for a breakdown into
Mhm.
like the 3399 to 3398 area, basically a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 2 ish kind of trade.
Mhm.
But it's cheap, and the reason I call it cheap is because all that is giving me that possible trade is essentially we've been bearish. We're still, the EMAs are still trending bearish. We broke down, consolidated, broke down. Now we're consolidating. And then I would just want to get in at a short at the top of that range for another breakdown possibly. And that's really all there is to it. It's not like rocket science or anything. That's why I just
No.
call it a cheap short, to be quite honest. There's not a whole lot to it. And it's an overnight session. So obviously we know all the liquidity is spotty. So,
Yeah, I'm
that's enough of
really eyeballing
me.
eyeballing the Nikkei myself. Yeah, might
You know
possibly look
what?
at it. I just need price to drop a little lower, and I might possibly take a stab at a small demand zone on an hour time frame. Maybe just depends on how price
Yeah,
enters. 15 minutes. I'm sorry,
no,
or 30-minute demand zone.
you reminding me of that. I feel like I really want to get into the Nikkei. I want to see if trading the Nikkei. I could see trading the Nikkei overnight being a not only some good experience, but a kind of like a fun little test on. But you know what? Dang it! There isn't like a micro Nikkei, is there?
Yeah, I
No,
don't
there
know. I don't know
isn't.
how the
Son of
futures
a
market works.
gun.
Biscuit.
There isn't. So I can't do that. I
Oh
can't do that. I'm not going to be just playing around in the regular Nikkei futures for fun.
no,
So we aren't
no,
doing
I
that
getcha.
one. But
Yeah, it just needs to drop about another 80 points, which the points aren't that huge in the Nikkei. Yeah, just give me
yeah,
about another 0.2% drop. I love it because it's starting to form my little contraction box on the 10-minute frame, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So I'm starting to get that master pattern play out nicely just ahead of the zone after
okay.
it's pulled back, that big pullback. Yeah. So definitely going to keep an eye on this sucker. Got my alert set. Yeah, I'm looking at 98. I'm sorry, 39,853. That's the exact number I'm looking at. But
Nice.
again, I'm on the ETF. You're probably looking on the future ticker there. Probably a little different, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah, but that's all right. I was looking at the charts and I got what you were saying. Um,
Yeah.
I think I feel like I need to get short gold. But the sellers are having a hard time here. The sellers are, I think they're trying to make a push, and I'm looking. There's like a lot of bids. There's a lot of like bids going down to 33.88. There's like a higher volume bids, and I'm thinking that that might be like a little bit of a magnet where sellers want to kind of go down there and capture some liquidity of sorts. Oh
Yeah.
man, I wish I could have gotten in like 1 point higher. That's what I want to do, but I think I can't. I'm just gonna get in. I'm just gonna get
Just
in
one.
one
Just one.
here. I basically got in at the like the worst area of the range, almost the worst area of the range. So I'll get in at the one. If it pops up to like 3401.5 to 3402, I'll get into another, and then I'll have my stop above the consolidation range of the last like 12 minutes, which is
3402, you'd say?
3403. Yeah, 3403. So yeah, I knew that I was going to like get in there. The spread is also like about 3 ticks, roughly 2 to 3 ticks, depending. I had a feeling I was going to get in at a terrible. This is exactly what I'm talking about with execution too. Sometimes, like the execution, especially on like if you're just trying to scalp, execution matters so much. But like for me, I am
Mm-hmm.
trying to get like a little bit of a bigger sell down here, especially after looking at the DOM. We've got 60 contracts at 3,400, and then we've got another 60 at 3,395. I would love to see just like a breakdown to kind of sweep that liquidity and maybe test the 33.95 area. That would really be the trade of my dreams. I think
What
this in
does
this overnight session.
what does your chart look like on a 5 minute time frame? I'm just curious to see
Yeah,
how
yeah.
similar it looks to the Nikkei. Okay.
Oh, you're just
Five.
talking about for gold, or are you talking about for like the Nikkei, the Nikkei futures, NKD?
Yeah, yeah. I was just
This,
curious. Okay, so yeah, that looks very similar. Okay, yeah. Because see, I'm looking
yeah,
for. I guess if I compared it to your chart, it'd be the 3400 area on the Nikkei. That's where I'm looking to buy. Basically, as soon as that big spike recovers, yeah, I see a lot of volatility, a lot of volume there. Just a big gigantic push. Yeah, again, I'll have to do some homework, figure out what the heck's going on. Is that intervention or is that more of the Japanese politics coming into play?
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. No, that's true. It's weird to see that spike and then just immediate. It reminds me of like the like Fed minutes, like the that like and like like a like an earnings call for like a stock or something, just a big spike up and then a drop down. All right, come on.
Speaking of,
Let's
speaking of, we got quite a bit of earnings tomorrow. Coca-Cola, General Motors, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Texas Instruments. Well, that's an earnings call. But yeah, yeah, quite a bit. I don't pay a ton of attention to
nice.
the stock market, but it's always nice to see what some of those bigger companies are doing to see how it might potentially affect the index that I trade.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, not too crazy.
yeah.
And then let's see here. July. So tomorrow is the 22nd. Yeah, I don't think we really have anything major until Wednesday. Well, Governor Bailey speaks at 4:15 in the morning for the Bank of England. So that'll be during my Forex fire session. So definitely gonna keep an eye on
Okay.
that. Fed chair flaps his lips, 7:30, like you mentioned on the news, and then um, Bullock speaks on Wednesday for the Aussie dollar. But yeah, it's all about Thursday for me. I'm interested to see how the PMI numbers come out at 8:45 Central AM Central. Really, really
Yeah,
interesting. That's really the only dollar report coming out. Everything else is, I mean, there's a lot of PMI data coming out for the euro, the pound, but yeah, as far as the dollar, that's the only red folder event I see,
yeah,
other than Trump speaks on Wednesday on AI. That's the only other major thing I see at the moment.
I like it.
Home sale
I did. I did just get short another contract of gold because it
on the
just popped up.
pullback. Yep.
Yeah, it just like it popped up. Honestly, I was thinking, as soon as it popped, I was like, "Dang, I think this would be a Coach Sam situation where like he looks at the footprint, he's like, sellers just got trapped at the bottom, and now a push is going to happen to the upside, and it honestly looks like it could be that situation, but the sellers did just sell it back off of the short term EMA that I have here. Um, I am very curious to see if we hold it and then the low breaks and the buyers exit and then it really gets the sell pressure going below 3400. I also wasn't thinking um something that I will probably learn here tonight is if that 3400 level is like a psychological thing or not, especially in an overnight session. I
Mhm.
don't know if it has much like psychological weight to it of any sort. But
Yeah.
I did not think about that. But that's probably like not too
If we find
meaningful, to be
out.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I would if this pans out and gold just sinks a couple bucks. I will take I will take one of them off to essentially make the other trade
Mhm.
free. If not, I'm
Yeah.
just going to let it stop me out, obviously. But it looks like it's trying to rebound. It is trying so hard.
Bouncing off
These
your, was
buyers
it your
are,
21? Yeah.
yep,
Bouncing
that's
off
the
your 21.
21 period EMA. Don't do me
Yeah. It
dirty,
follows it.
21 period EMA.
It follows it. Looks
Come
like it's
on.
doing pretty well from the above bounces.
I have
So
many years
21.50.
experience with, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coach
and then
Paul.
sometimes what?
Yeah. Give me just one second. I'm going to make a quick rush to the Louvre. I'll
Yeah.
be right back. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no
All right,
worries.
brother.
No worries. Yeah, and yeah, guys, so honestly, this this is iffy at this point. I like that it is holding this 21 period EMA, but at the same time, we went from higher volume contracting on the sell side to now like volume has essentially dried up a bit in gold here. Um, the best bet is you're either going to see a pop up on low volume or a sell off on higher volume. I think, and then the original pop off on low volume would then be followed by higher buying volume because of likely like stop hunts and stuff on short term traders like me, for example, who are short and need to get out with limited risk. So, but we'll see. I don't know. The trend is down. Um, I'm honestly like, it's not the worst trade, to be quite honest. I mean, would I prefer have gotten short in this area? Like I was talking earlier, I was looking for a pop up to get short, by this 50 period EMA. Would I love to be short here at like the 3405.50? I mean, obviously, I would absolutely love that, but we aren't, and that doesn't mean that it can't go down further. So can't be fearful of a trade just because a product that you're looking at has already made the move. It can make more of a move, especially if you're looking at things like the market profiles and whatnot to gauge previous day or current day's uh, auction sentiment. So yeah, it's playing out. It's doing okay. It's doing all right. We're in the money a tiny bit. Nothing crazy. What car? There is gold trading available. Yes. So on Ola Prime, you can trade. If you're on the Forex side of Ola Prime, I believe you trade gold through like the CFD version of it, which is like fractionalized share
XAU.
stuff, XAU USD, right? And then if you're on the
That's what
futures trading side of it, you would trade the futures contract, which would be slash GC or slash MGC. Like me, for example, I'm trading slash MGC. So
micros.
yeah. So now we're coming back up to the, yeah, this isn't looking the greatest, I must say. Isn't looking the greatest. Are we gonna respect the 21 period? I don't think. I don't know. I
Come
don't
on,
know. This
Aretha
is
Franklin.
starting.
Start singing some respect.
This is really feeling like a like the only way that I should be looking at the indices as well while we're here. Um, yeah, this looks like a reversal is about to occur. Unfortunately, yeah. Look at this.
She's flying.
That is.
Get
See
you a big
now, you
wick
know
right
what?
here.
The problem is like you can see my stop is right where my 50 period EMA is, of course.
Yeah, I was about to
And
ask about that.
I would, yeah, and just the way it came down, it's like that's how it's lining up. I don't like that, to be quite honest. I don't
No.
like that. Um, the only thing I could do, um, I'd have to move it up to like 34.035. But I don't want to do that, honestly. If anything, I'd just rather get into the position again at a higher point after being stopped out and just go from
Mm-hmm.
there. But I only
Right.
have, we've talked about this before where, like, in certain trades, my full position on, like, in certain products for future micro future stuff, my full position size on these like 100K one step prime challenges is 3 micro contracts. I'm in 2 at the moment, so I would only have one more to be able to, like, relatively DCA strategically into this, but then keep the stop essentially the same as where my other 2 stops are. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just not even worth it. It feels like I'd just be giving up a little bit of free money at this point. If it works, I'm just gonna let it. If it goes up to my stop, great. If not, I'll look to possibly get in at a better price or get long. So, unfortunately, where
Mm-hmm.
I got in short, this is an exact example of, like, if you don't get in at the proper area of the consolidation range, you can really get bitten. Um, it looked decent for a little while, but the sellers are just not pulling through anymore. I think buyers have this now. Um, this is what Sam would say, where sellers got trapped at about 3,400, and
Mm-hmm.
buyers are now just or the sellers that are trapped at 3,400 are likely are getting out, and you might have new buyers stepping in here or other buyers adding to positions. So um, I think this is not the greatest trade, unfortunately, but you never know. You never know. I
Never
could just be
know.
overanalyzing.
Oh, we do that all the time. I do it all the time. It never goes away. Never.
Exactly. And you guys can see, like, it was 30, like, so with 2 micros, it was like a risk of $39 to make 111. So in the grand scheme, that is like a 2.8 to 1 ish, which is respectable. So not mad about it, honestly. Um, yeah, definitely not mad about it at all. I think that the move will be lower eventually. I just might have picked a bad point to be trying to get that move lower. Is all there is to it. And also,
Yeah.
I'm also getting used to getting used to these overnight sessions is just the only way to do it is by trading them. So
Yeah.
I never really traded overnight sessions that much. So this is actually just really good experience in general
Oh,
to
yeah.
be doing this. So
Can't win and learn lessons if we don't place orders, right?
exactly.
Small on the
Um,
risk. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, like I said, I'm combination for me. I mean, I'm used to the higher time frames, so I'm coming down to the smaller time frames, obviously for content, right? Um, and then obviously getting used to the different times, the European session in the morning and a little bit of this Asian session. So it's a new experience. It's good though. I mean, it's good. I think great experience to learn all the time frames, all the sessions.
yeah, definitely, definitely
Because
for
here's the
sure.
thing, and this is what me and Michael were talking about last week. Like we had like over the previous couple weeks, going through our ramp up streams that we were doing, we were constantly finding price points, or in my case, supply and demand zones that I had placed, and they were constantly hitting around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Well, that's to the European session. So we were like, okay, well, we're missing a lot of these trades, but now we don't have the excuse because we're actually on that time frame now, and so I know they work. I mean, with how I trade the supply and demand, I know it works because I see it because I always map out my zones and I see that they're constantly getting hit overnight. Well, I don't like to place limit orders. I like to be on top of it because I like to see that I like to see it prove itself. Giving me
Yeah,
engulfing candles and candles with tails on the bottom or wicks on top if I'm shorting. volume spikes just to prove itself. But even without all that, that's just my way of overanalyzing it, but it just makes me feel good about it. Makes me feel comfortable with the proving
Yeah.
themselves. But still they hit all the time, and they go, it would have been a would be profit. So no, it's good to step into some other times, learn the
Yeah, man.
characteristics.
And speaking, so I just got stopped out there. And speaking of that, like that exactly what you're talking about right there with like the different time frames, even just like between the 1 minute and the 5 minute, for example, where with like the 1 minute, what I usually like to do a lot of the time, like one of my favorite things when I'm using the EMA as like a final confirmation, if I'm ever using the EMA for final confirmations,
Mm-hmm.
what I like to see a lot of the time is like, for example, when we pop up here and we got to the 50 period EMA, if I was looking to short, I would go to the 5 minute and see if we are in confluence with like the 21 period EMA on the five
Yeah.
minute. And if that happens, I'm like, ooh, okay, I like this. And then look at like, and you see, okay, it's been respecting that, EMA very often. And so I feel that's like, the best execution short I could get based on that like thought process of getting in via
Extra odds
EMAs
enhancers.
on
Yeah, exactly.
right, because you got two different time frame people that only trade 5 minute candles, people that trade 1 minute candles. They're kind of lining up in some sort of fashion, and yeah. But to be fair, I could have with the trade that I had just done, understanding where the order flow that I saw in this 3400 to 3400.5 area, it became relatively clear that buyers had stepped up and meaningful buyers had stepped up and the sellers were trapped. I probably should have looked at that a little bit more intuitively and just known that that was a good area to get out at scratch. Obviously, hindsight trading, but at the same time, because I know, for example, like Coach Sam, a lot of the times when he'll see things like that, he's very quick to get out, whether it goes in his favor or not after the fact. But another way to look at it is even if you do, like, yes, if it goes in your favor, like, and you missed out on a good trade when you were already in it because you overanalyzed, that does suck. But at the same time, you're also saving your capital for maybe a better trade that where you don't have that feeling. So I guess it's kind of like a double-edged sword of sorts. But again, analyzing the overnight is a lot different than analyzing a normal trading session. So that's a good one to learn, though. That was a good one to understand there. So little Nick, $40 Nick there. Let's see if we can't find another trade here at some point and maybe make it back in the next 45 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yep. Still waiting on Nikkei to drop a little more. I think that's my most favorite one at the moment as far as the smaller time frames goes. Really wanting the DAX in Germany to drop because I got a really nice zone on it. Really nice.
Yeah.
Perfect 4-hour zone inside of my daily demand zone. And the DAX is actually giving me a pretty bullish bias too. I think I'm still getting a bullish score of a 6 on my fundamental chart here. So give me a 50% retracement. Oh yeah, we'll be in the game on the DAX.
Very nice.
And then just looking at my economic surprise meter, I kind of mentioned this last night on the show. Obviously, we probably have a different audience, but yeah, as far as currencies go, I still have the New Zealand dollar as the strongest when we're talking economic surprises, like report, forecast, but the report exceeded expectations. So yeah, New Zealand is 88%, Euro is at 83%, and then Swiss franc is at 80%. So those are the three strongest currencies I'm watching. I'm trying to find some buys on those, and then sell something like the Canada dollar. It's only at 29%, so that's the weakest. So if I can find a good New Zealand CAD Euro CAD, Swiss CAD Swiss, and I'm all over
Mm.
that. In fact, let me look here. Yeah, I'm not getting a bearish signal on CAD Swiss, so I definitely would leave that one alone for now. But Euro CAD, New Zealand CAD, let me see here. Yeah, and see, I'm not even getting a bullish score on those either. They're all neutral basically, so they're not. Some of the reports are beating expectations, and some of them are missing expectations. So it's just kind of in the middle. Same thing with the sentiment, the COT report. I can touch on the COT report if you like, because it's
Oh yeah,
updated
for
as of
sure. I
Friday.
mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling the other stream this morning. This is the first thing I do every single Sunday, is look at the COT report and update, because it always updates about 4 o'clock Central on Fridays, so long as there's not a
Right.
holiday. But yeah, it's always current as of the previous Tuesday to the Tuesday before that. So 3 to 7 days prior. It's kind of weird how they do it, but
Yeah.
yeah, just as the Swiss franc is one of the stronger currencies in the fundamentals, the big banks and institutions, that's the currency that they increase their long percentage on the most as well. So that's just
Mm.
that's one thing I love to see is uh, yeah, that economic surprise meter giving me a high score, plus the banks being interested. Yeah, they increased the Swiss franc net long percentage by 1.73%. So that's a pretty good number. Um, they did increase the euro as well. That was that other top economic surprise currency. They increased it 1.34%. So those two currencies are definitely number one and number two as far as trying to pair it with something weaker. And then if we flip to the negative side, to the ones that they increased their short positioning on, they increased their shorts on the Japanese yen, which is weird. See, considering it was strong enough to knock me out of my, or well, trying to knock me out of my Swiss Jap trade, but obviously the Nikkei, like we were just looking at, just flying upwards. So it must have been a little bit of a false spike, because obviously it's retracing now. If it retraces deep enough, though, about another, what did I say, 0.2%, then I'm getting into that thing for a long, because Nikkei has given me again a bullish score of a 7. So it's a lot of puzzle pieces, it's a lot of moving parts. But from a COT report perspective, the big banks, institutions, yeah, they ended up selling out of the yen. They sold out on oil, U.S. oil, and then they sold out on 3 of the 4 U.S. indices. So the Russell, the Dow, the
Mm.
S&P, they sold anywhere from 1.7% to 2.47%, just depending on which of those indices. But they did buy the Nasdaq. They increased their long percentage almost a full percent on the Nasdaq. So that's why the Nasdaq is actually giving me my strongest reading right now. It's giving me a very bullish score of 12. So um, yeah, that's the one I'm
Dude,
going to
that's
try to get
crazy.
in on positions on this week, is the Nasdaq, and then yeah, obviously the Euro Japanese yen as well. Probably
Dude, some of my tech
my two.
holding positions and like some of my like tech holding
Yep.
positions in my personal account. Jeez Louise, dude. I look at them and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, should I be taking something off the table?
Yeah. Right.
Like
Right.
that. Yeah, man. There's
Yeah. Well,
I was in
that's
some
all in.
stuff.
Let me see. Those are all in the Nasdaq, right? Don't the don't the tech
Oh yeah.
stocks aren't they
Oh yeah.
primarily in the Nasdaq? Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's
I
why I was
mean,
mentioning it. Yeah.
well, I tell you, I mean, it might just be something you hold. I mean, I would probably be holding, because again, Nasdaq's given a very bullish 12 score. So yeah, I'm trying to get some
Right.
dips to get into Nasdaq, but it keeps taking off. It's just going parabolic, right?
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
some of this I was buying, like the reason I was saying that is because like I was buying when that like 20% correction happened or whatever. I was buying a bunch of stuff, and luckily I
Mm-hmm.
was able to have a very low cost basis relative to where we are now. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I take a little bit off the table, but at the same time, it's just like, why? Until
Yeah.
I have a really good reason aside from being at all time highs. Maybe I just let it go, let it ride.
Let it
So
go. Let it go.
exactly.
I had
it-
I drove medical transport here about 10 years ago, and there I had to drive this woman
cool.
with her daughter to a hospital. It was like an hour and a half each way, and she had an iPad and played that song on repeat the entire way there and the entire way back. So by the time I dropped them off, I was sick of the song. The first time or two that she played it, I thought, "Oh, that's a cool song," but yeah, I hated it by the time I dropped them off, and I knew every word to the song.
I'm sure you
No,
did. Yeah.
no more.
You, that's too good,
Um,
man.
yeah, that's funny.
That's a classic,
Do
though.
you? Are you
That's a classic.
yeah, yeah. I did a recording of it actually, just as a joke, through the Smule app. It's a karaoke app. Yeah, I did a recording of it,
Yes.
but it was mixed with Under Pressure, Queen and David Bowie. So it was like a mashup song, and I just did it just for the fun of it. Posted it on my
That's
Facebook.
awesome. Love that.
Um,
That's so.
yeah, you're not into trade? Is that right at the moment?
I am not at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Contemplating
I was
getting
gonna say if
long,
you want,
but
I can show. Yeah, if you want, I can show a couple of my alerts.
you know
I got
what?
lip rolling.
Yeah, I am
But if you get it, kick me
possibly.
off.
I want to get long, but I don't. Dang it! Just give
You,
me one. Yeah, no, yeah. You have keep your chart up. I'll let you know if I do get in.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries on it. Yeah, so just kind of going through the currency world here. We'll just take a look. I'll actually do this. I mean, I've got alerts. I'm just going to go through all the majors real quick. I just want to go through the 7 majors and just kind of get a technical aspect. Now, just for context, everybody, the only dollar denominated pair that I care to trade, if I get a signal, a technical signal, would be the dollar Canada dollar on a buy. And then on the short sell side, I've got Aussie dollar and I've got pound dollar. Those are my two bearish setups, my two bearish biases. So, um, yeah, we'll just take a quick look at dollar CAD because this is actually the trade I got in on Friday. And again, I closed it out because it had only gained about 15, 20 pips. So I ended up getting in off this demand zone here. I think it was a 2 hour. Yeah. Let me see. Where did it get? Now, on the breakout. So this was another one of my breakout trades. That's what it was. But yeah, as you can see, it just chewed right through the zone. So I basically just waited for it to reverse, took a breakout, kind of went down, and it closed up in this area somewhere. So, well, it would have closed, but I went ahead and I pretty much cashed it out at that peak right there. So I bought off of this
Yeah.
breakout, and then I closed it up here. I just didn't want to hold it over the weekend, and I'm glad I did because it came down after that point and would have wiped me out for a regular loss, but thankfully I got out of it, and it's just went downhill. So, but yeah, it's a bullish fundamental score. Now it's been on a downward trend for a while up until the last couple weeks. It's just been kind of going sideways. If I look at that on a weekly time frame, it looks even more filthy. Just kind of sideways for a month and a half or so. Let me turn on my master pattern indicator real quick. Monthly, weekly, daily. Yeah. So yeah, on a daily time frame, I mean, we're getting a little bit of a contraction box for this particular period of time right here. So, again, this master pattern, it's just like supply and demand. It works on all the time frames. So inevitably, price went down, creates that liquidity, takes the banks take that price the other way because of this area here, probably a smaller time frame demand zone, and now we've cleared the top side of it. So that's when it turns green. If you see an orange contraction box, it's because it's only went one direction so far. But if you see it blue, I should say, that's because it's broken out on both ends. So I ultimately like to see it break out on both ends because that shows good manipulation of the liquidity. So,
Yeah.
one way that I'll play this is now that it's broken upward, if it retraces back to the median line, which you can't really see it there, but there's a median line from the 50% of the box that goes out to the east, or goes out to the right, I should say. So that can be used as a dynamic support resistance line, and then from there just kind of follow it over on my 4-hour time frame, which is this box here. So that's 4-hour demand. And actually, yeah, well, it actually worked out perfect. Now, I didn't get into this trade because that was, let's see, that would have been Wednesday. I was already in another dollar denominated pair, so I actually missed that one. But yeah, you can see, I mean, that 50% line on the daily was going right through the demand zone, the 4-hour demand zone. So yeah, once price returned, it actually pushed upward. So that would have been about a 2.5 to 1, potential buy.
That's nice.
And then profit just below the overhead supply zone that I've got up here. So that was actually a pretty freaking perfect trade now that I see it. But yeah, I just, there's so many pairs and there's so many time frames. And then of course there's the order block I use, the supply and demand, and the master pattern. I don't see every one. Yeah, that was one I clearly missed. So anyway, good example of how it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, from where we stand now, though, I would feel comfortable about this as far as a bullish setup if price can go ahead and break this overhead resistance point and close up here somewhere, and then come down and find a 4-hour demand zone somewhere in this area. That's really what I'm waiting for if we're looking at it on more of a confirmation, perspective. Hey, it's proven itself because we had obviously lower highs, lower lows. We kind of had a little bit higher of a high here if you're comparing it to here. And then this low point here was higher than this low point. So I just need to now see a higher high over this high here to, for that to be a confirmed uptrend. Because again, this is giving me a bullish sentiment, bullish fundamentals. So that's ultimately what I would like to see. Just prove itself. If I get in anywhere down here, yeah, it did work out on this particular one, but that's basically the same as catching a falling knife. It's just doing it on a higher time frame. Mm-hmm. So yeah, as far as the next move, I would prefer to see that type of price action first before I commit to the dollar Canada dollar. Gotcha. Switching gears to the two short position ideas, got the pound dollar. So that's the trade I actually had a small loss on the other day. So yeah, with all the currency pairs, obviously the Powell firing rumors, and then the Trump coming out and saying no, because he had to quieten down the market after that came out. It was kind of funny to watch the price action unfold from the time they put that out on the news about he might fire Powell to the time he comes out and ixnays that rumor. It's just funny to watch the price action on chart. But anyway, yeah, this one was giving me a very bearish fundamental bias. So I ended up kind of doing something I don't normally do. I went to a 15-minute and I looked at the spike itself. So this is where that all happened. Was right here. So that's where the rumor came out. And then up here is where Trump said, nah, psych, I ain't doing that. And then you can see price recovered. So what I did was wrapped a supply zone rectangle around that 15-minute candle right there. Because there was a ton of volume, and rightfully so, because everybody was kind of panicking. So I thought, okay, we'll see if I can take a step if price returns there, see if I can get into a short position, because again, it's giving me a bearish bias. So this kind of gives you an idea of the ups and downs of a trade. So here I am, right here. Okay, I got a trigger candle. It broke this low, and this is Friday. Going down. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Oh, feeling pretty good about this. Loving this.
Mhm.
Okay, I was right. Tiger, you're awesome. Okay, we're bouncing off of a lower point. That's to be expected. No problem. It can bust through, right? Oh, it busted through. Good job, Tiger. You're so smart. You're so smart. And then that candle hits. That candle hits on Sunday. Oh, well, that was rude. Oh, look, we made another low point. Oh, it's okay, Tiger. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, just keep going down.
Uh,
Okay, there's another low point. Feeling pretty good, and then all of a sudden, okay, why are you going up?
uh,
Why are you going up? Why are you going up?
whoa.
So then it comes back into the supply zone itself, and I thought, okay, well, double top. The double top will keep me safe, right? Nope. Okay, well, there might be a little more unfilled orders up here, right? In the top part of the zone. Nope. Okay, well, we got this hour demand supply zone up here. Maybe that'll hold. No, and then I ultimately got out right here. So that's just a
Oh
little
my
bit of
god.
you're on that trade, and that's just the way trading works. So it's exciting, but
Yeah.
sometimes you lose them. It's a big deal. You just take your small
It's,
loss.
it's
Again, that
so
was a
true.
0.3% account loss, so it wasn't even that much. Yeah,
Yeah.
now just watch. It's going to turn around and the bottom's going to fall out because it finally stopped me out. Because the market is watching my every move, right? That's what
Exactly. It's specifically that's what every, yeah, that's the funny thing
that's
is
what
like,
everybody says.
obviously exactly. It's like, we obviously know that's not true, but then there's like, new traders or, people that'll just be like, I swear it's
Swear up
like
and
they're
down,
watching
but
me. The market makers are watching me.
yeah.
So true.
So yeah,
So funny.
I thought that'd be a fun explanation of that one.
That
Um,
is like how far were you in the money on that trade? Like relatively speaking, were you 1-to-1 at
like
like one
400.
point or
It's like it was like $450 at one point, but
okay,
5,
gotcha.
0.5% on this account would be 500. So if it would have gotten to that point, then I would have moved my stop loss to break even for a 1-to-1 because I had the
Gotcha.
$500 stop loss. So I was only about 40-50 bucks away from moving it to the 1-to-1.
Dang
But
it,
I,
dude.
if I have the same trade over again, I do the exact same thing because I am very partial to the fundamentals, and the fundamentals still are saying this is a very bullish, not very bullish, but I'm sorry, a bearish bias. So
Right.
it's just a matter of just waiting for some new zones to kind of form. I mean, if I look at it over here, well, it looks like I might have even broken my rule. So I didn't, it's still uptrend, right? It did break that. It did break this trend line, but this is where I think we were talking about it this morning on our morning stream. But this is where this is kind of a bear trap, right? I mean, people
Hmm.
see that trend line and they think, oh, okay, price breaks the line and closes below it with some pretty good volume. Are you kidding me? So that's a breakout trade that a lot of shorts did. Now, I
Yeah.
didn't take that. I waited for price to return to hit that supply zone. And oh, by the way, I was looking for that trend line to now become a resistance. So support all the way
Mhm.
up, right? Support, 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 support. Price breaks, hits my demand, hits my supply zone, and hits that line, that trend line again. Okay, that's giving me some good variables in my favor. I liked it. So I'm not mad at all about this trade. I would do it over again, right? But if I had to
Yeah.
criticize it in hindsight, I did not wait on a daily time frame for it to make new lows, right? Because we still had higher lows, higher highs. So, and then the other thing I felt, the other variable I had in my that I liked was on a daily time frame. I did have a daily supply zone overhead. I always do my daily zones in yellow just so I can differentiate them in my head.
Right.
But yeah, green candle up before the origin of a strong move, basically. So
Mhm.
even though I didn't have the lower lows, the lower highs, I thought, well, we got these other things in my favor, so maybe that'll kind of cancel that out. But it didn't work. So no big deal.
Hey,
I'll just look for
yeah, exactly.
another pullback. Yeah, that's the way it
Yeah,
works.
man.
That's just the way it works, boys and girls. But yeah,
And Robert's
what
Robert's in the chat. Let's go, dude. Robert's in
Robert?
the
What's
chat.
up, Robert?
It's my gaming streaming
But
night, so I'll be
yeah,
lurking, giving you guys. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, thank you.
lurking, giving you guys the view. Okay, cool. Thanks, Robert. But yeah, now that I've been burnt on that one for a small loss, I'm just going to wait for price to establish the lower lows and the lower highs before I have any interest in getting back in. So that's kind of the little
Yeah,
bit of the longer term look now on the pound dollar. I just thought, we'll just give this one a shot.
yeah.
Um, Aussie dollar. Now this one has kind of rolled over. So on Aussie dollar, this is my only other bearish bias I've got. Yeah, obviously uptrend for a while. This is a lot more choppier of a pair. I don't really trade this one a ton, but we did manage to make a lower low. So I am projecting that this supply zone right here would be, more of the higher low. So I've already kind of drawn that out. But yeah, just look to get in after this liquidity gets run by the banks. Let me just update my deal here. Move this over here. Move this kind of over here. So yeah, you got this kind of triple top action if you look at it on a smaller time frame. So there's a lot of people, for everybody that sold there, they've got buy orders up here. Buy orders are their
Yeah.
stop losses. So big banks need those buy orders to fuel their sell orders. So they're going to collect that along the way and ultimately hit the supply zone where there's a big batch of unfilled orders. So that's really my mindset on Aussie dollar. But yeah, sell there and then buy to cover just below this or just above this demand zone. So try to go for like a 3-to-1. It looks like 4-to-1, whatever that'll be.
I did just get short another 2 contracts on gold, on the micro gold.
Okay.
um, which
Where
I
at?
literally, while I was listening, might not be the greatest entry again, but I saw it reject the 5 minute. I'll share my screen real quick. I saw it
Oh, okay.
reject again the 5 minute 21 period. I figured, you know what, might as well give this another stab. It kind of is doing like a weird micro head and shoulders of sorts as well, which is kind of interesting. If I can show it better on the 1 minute here. I got in again, not at the greatest price. I would like to see it break down here, kind of go like, spike basically below the previous low or spike down, on renewed selling pressure. But my stop is relatively tight here. I'm not giving it too much room, to be quite honest. Yeah, so we'll see. I might have, this might just be another rough trade, but I really felt like it could start breaking down at any second. So thought I'd give it a stab. It's looking like I got in closer to the bottom of a range again, which is terrible. Again, my execution on because of the spreadiness of this overnight,
Oh, the
sometimes it's
spread.
like 3 ticks away. And like I got
Mm-hmm.
in like 3 or 4 ticks worse when I was selling the market, and it literally is close to the low of that wick. It's like 3 ticks off the low of that wick. So I normally would have been in roughly around like 43 or 40 or 34.028 ish is what I was looking at, and um, hopefully I can just get a little bit of selling pressure on my side here. And I actually have my stop. I need to move it like literally 2 more ticks up.
Damn it with the
3404.1 is where
spreads.
I need. Yeah. So this is literally, if this works out the way that, it's again, like this just kind of hinders the risk to reward ever so slightly. But yeah, look at this, dude. It's just gonna take me out. This is gonna be not the greatest, but what are you gonna do, man? Like
You're
I'm
investing
actually
in your
befuddled.
your night lessons.
Yeah. My one step prime account challenge is going through some learning struggles on the overnight session with gold. I mean, I've had some
Yeah,
decent gold trades on the night sessions the past week, but yeah, it's kicking my butt tonight. I must say, I am not seeing it well. The depth of
yeah.
market is fooling me massively. I am one tick or so away. I was just one tick away from my stop there before it just pulled back ever so
Just one.
slightly. I literally was one tick away. Somehow, with the spread, did not get ticked out there. If this if this actually goes back in my favor and starts breaking,
Then
we're
you'll be the
kind of
world's
lucky
greatest
in the
coach,
sense.
the world's greatest trader, Paul.
Right, exactly. That's I would, dude. I'm trying, but I'm trying
Yeah,
to show by example here, but
right.
Uh, I think being an overnight trader is going to be a skill that we're going to learn like in itself. It's going to be like its own type
Yeah.
of skilled trading uh, thing. So come on, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Let's
something as
get
simple
on.
as using Chat GPT or DeepSeek. I love. Hopefully, they don't kick me out of the U.S. for saying this, but I actually use DeepSeek more than I do Chat GPT as far as AI goes. But you could talk to that and
Yeah.
ask it anything. Hey, give me the scoop on the Asian session. This is for anybody, by the way. Give me the scoop on the European session, the scoop on the Asian session. I'm from the U.S. What are some things I need to look out for? Roadblocks, hints, clues. It'll actually tell you a lot. You can actually learn a lot just from asking a question like that. Hey, I
Right.
trade this
Yeah.
way and this way and this way, and I look at this info. What's a good potential trade plan, or what should I? How does this session compare to the New York session that I'm normally used to? Um, yeah,
Really good
that's a pretty
idea,
good
man.
way
And
to.
that's so true. That's so true. We need to be utilizing like traders. I think need to be utilizing Chat GPT more. And by traders, I'm also speaking about myself. Like I do not use it
Yeah,
like that. Thank you for bringing that up, honestly, because I forget that
I
Chat
use it.
GPT exists sometimes.
Yeah, I use it a ton. I mean, even if it's something I know about, I'll ask about it because there's always something you don't know about what you know. There's always a nuance to
Right.
learn with whatever trading strategy, or like in my case, the fundamentals I follow. No, it's helped
Hmm.
me tremendously just in
Yeah.
reiterating what I already know, but also adding on other nuggets
Hmm.
and advice like that. How
Yeah.
does how does
And
the interest rate drop affect this? How does it affect that? Which markets are correlated with the Canada dollar? Just things like that.
mhm,
Like it's anything you can imagine or think. It's you can ask and it'll come up with something. It's pretty cool.
mhm.
I
Definitely,
use
man.
it
That's
honestly to. I'll use it sometimes to put in my top setups from my algorithm, my fundamental algorithm, and then I'll copy and paste the calendar into there, the week's calendar, and just say, hey, what should I be looking out for this week with the calendar compared to the top setups I have that my fundamentals are telling me are bullish or bearish, and it gives me some interesting stuff on there, perspective that I would have never thought of. Just as far as putting
yeah.
puzzle pieces together. So it's a really cool way to learn and improve what you know.
Yeah, man. Well,
Well,
I'm out of that
the
trade
Nikkei,
now.
yeah. All
So
right.
I'm out of that trade, down 74 on the night. Uh, this is this is actually, unfortunately, this is my worst trading session on the Prime Challenge, and it's in an overnight session, which is interesting. I think what I need to do, I think this is a lesson. The active lesson that I'm learning is
hmm
with an overnight session, I should be limiting my lot size more because of the lack of knowledge with the liquidity moves.
Back
I
in.
should
Go
be
ahead and
only
switch over to my
yeah,
chart real quick. Sorry, Paul. I just wanted to
yeah.
get that over while you were explaining.
No, yeah. Perfect. Um, but yeah, and like just limiting it to one contract to be able to hold, because again, the overnight sessions, usually the moves aren't happening quickly, so you're going to have to hold for a while, and there's no sense
Mm-hmm.
in going in multiple contracts unless like I feel like I'm 95% right. So I should be, from here on out, what I'm learning about my trading now with the overnight session is trade one contract, and then
Mm-hmm.
if basically in any situation that's not like a 95% certain feeling type of situation. So don't let the
Mm-hmm.
overnight session chop you up or cut you up here. Just get to the New York session, have some fun in the overnight session, but allow for the size to be in the New York session instead. So
Right. No, I love this session
and
because it's like a great chance
yeah,
to talk strategy and some of the 30,000 foot view for me personally of the fundamentals, like the COT report and that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah,
Robert giving me some nice words of encouragement, and I appreciate it, Robert, very much. Um, and then let it be saying, love what you guys are doing. Tomorrow's another day. Really appreciate it, man. Awesome positivity. Thank you for tuning in. We love having you guys in here for the quiet markets. I know it's a little bit less action packed, but it's great to have a little bit of conversation in the chat as well. So
yeah, I love it.
and it's our pleasure making the live videos, man. We me and Tiger are on every at the moment where the way the sessions are working, it's every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Tiger's on literally at Monday through Thursday.
Monday through
So
Thursday.
you'll
Yeah,
catch
yeah,
Tiger. Yeah, you'll see
yeah.
Tiger
And
every
that's
day essentially.
I'm the
Yeah,
starting pitcher too, because I do start the 4:45 Central Standard Time show before the quiet markets on Sundays. So yeah, me and Michael, I believe it is. Yep. Is that right?
yeah,
Yeah, Michael. Yeah.
yeah.
So many combinations with all these shows. Sometimes it's tough to keep it straight. Because like
Yeah.
you don't
I
do
saw.
Wednesdays, right? I think it is.
Yeah, I don't do the Wednesdays. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Sunday nights they do a quiet market session, and it was Michael and Daryl I think last night. So Michael and Daryl, Coach Daryl, traded in the quiet
Yeah.
markets on Sunday night, which is interesting. So for the true trading nerds out there who the true trading nerds that can't help but to have their eyes gander over at the charts on a Sunday night, we do have a quiet market session on Sunday night too. So I wouldn't blame you if
Yeah.
you hopped over there. And also getting to see Coach Daryl and Coach Michael is they're just different types of traders. So it's different. You'll see different styles and strategies and stuff from them too. I in the live sessions in the New York session and afternoon sessions, I do a lot of trading with Daryl. Great coach. He's a fun one to listen to as
Hmm.
well. So, and you've
Yeah.
done trading sessions. You've done a trading session or two with Daryl. So,
Yeah, I've won with him. That was last Wednesday on this show.
right,
The one that you
right.
don't do. Yeah. No, he's great. Everybody's great. Everybody's great, and everybody's got their own style, but everybody's super
Mhm.
friendly and super great, super easy to learn from. I think everybody's pretty good at explaining what they do. Um,
Definitely.
yeah. Real quick, I just want to point out Nikkei. So I've currently got price in my demand zone. I've marked up a stop loss, potential stop loss, and I've marked up a potential take profit. 15 or 5 minutes. Last green candle up before the price down. So that's going to be my supply zone. Again, if I get in this trade, then I would look to take profit here. But right now, I'm just looking for a trigger candle. So with this being a 30-minute demand zone candle, which is pretty much a fat, what do you call it? Doji, a fat
Yeah.
doji. Uh, I would probably just look to find a trigger candle on the 5 minutes. So just there's really a couple ways I like to do this. It all depends on price action, price structure. Um, I kind of have a couple options really, but because this is such a, let me see here. So something like this, I like to see, like I could potentially use that as a breakout trade after obviously it bounces off the zone. I could also have the option of doing something like this, maybe come down like that. It's getting a little bit narrower. So there's really a couple different ways to trade this. 1 minutes,
Right.
yeah, I probably wouldn't do anything on the 1 minutes, but this is all about risk tolerance. This is all this is. So ultimately, I care about the demand zone itself, because when I see price action like this, especially with the doji candle, I love that. Obviously, we had the gigantic candle that happened right before our stream started on excellent volume, as you can see below. So there's, typically when that happens, people get left behind. People would wish they would have bought. So if and when price returns, a lot of people are jumping back in. Now, it's
Mm-hmm.
not known until the volume starts to pick up. So, on the bottom, I want to kind of see the volume kind of U-shape and start curling up as it hits the zone, which it has currently hit it. So I just threw a lot at everybody, but I'm just saying there's really multiple ways you could look to enter this. Some people will buy just
Yeah.
on the touch of the zone. Some people will buy when it comes to the 50% line. Some people will buy as a confirmation entry as it exits the zone. You can also obviously buy the breakout of that shorter term trend line, or this longer term trend line. This is all just risk tolerance, how everybody's the most comfortable. But ultimately, I want to see an engulfing candle, engulfing this, and preferably even engulfing this candle as well. I don't have a 10-minute chart on GUI trades, but I'm sure, yeah. I don't know. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thinking in my head here. Yeah, I'd probably just go for like a exit and a break of this candle here. Probably something like that might be my
Right.
trigger.
And
But that's
I
only
was going to
that's
say
only if
that.
this candle is an engulfing candle.
Yeah, yeah. And I was going to say that candle will form at about 11:01 p.m. Eastern time, or right after the session's over. That trigger candle will form. Of course,
Yeah,
right as soon as the session's done.
yeah.
Too
But no,
good.
that candle forming right now has to close above this candle at minimum, and it has to have some
Yeah.
volume. How much time? 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes left on this candle. So 2 minutes left. So far, not looking great, right?
No.
Which is fine, because if I don't get a
Yeah.
trigger candle, I save another stop loss from getting hit.
Exactly. No, I agree. Like, it's being strict with your strategy is always the way to go, man. I'm with you.
I
I
take my
definitely.
hands and I sit on them just like this,
Some of the
and
best
I just
traders,
wait.
that's exactly what they're doing, that more often than not. So that's
Yep,
for sure.
yep. Some of the best trades we ever take are the ones we don't take.
Yep. Yes,
Think about it.
exactly. Exactly.
I
So
finally started
true.
to realize that over the last couple of years. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I used to get in at this point, but because the fundamentals are telling me that's not a good place to get in or whatever, I don't get a trigger candle. That's a trade that I no longer get losses on. So some of the best trades ever are the ones you don't take. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely. Man, I am feeling like a sucker with gold today, I must say. I feel like I was just taken advantage of. That's
Yeah.
man, this was an interesting one, I must say. I know Sam, um Sam, is not a fan of the gold, but I know some of the stuff that he would have saw here on the gold trades that I did. I feel like he would have, possibly been starting to get long. And dang, dude, I just really needed to
Yep.
listen to my inner thoughts there and like reverse position. But I also don't enjoy doing that. I like letting it play out, and then like the problem is I let the first trade play out which is good, let the stop loss hit, and then there was a confirmation to get short again, instead of to get long. And then when I got short, the confirmation to get long started just like the first trade. I was like, dang it, dude. Like I cannot, I just got played by the order flow today, I must say. Oh gosh.
Is my alert hitting on my other platform for the same one?
Oh
I just
yeah.
wanted to see what the 10-minute. Yeah, see it. There's the 10-minute time frame. So yeah. So now if I'm looking at this on a 10 minutes, I would want it to close up in this area because we had that 5-minute. Oops, we had that 5-minute candle close, and it's just yeah. So basically, what happened is the price got down there. We had some volume pick up on the 2 candles that entered the zone, as you can see down here, and then it just kind of slowly dying off. So a lot of indecision right now. That's fine. If I don't
Yeah,
see any buyers, I don't jump in. Simple as that.
exactly.
Yeah. And Mondays I don't usually place much trades anyway. Like I say, I usually just kind of maintain whatever I may have left open over the weekend. That's about it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if if our session wasn't ending in the next 5 minutes, I would be contemplating getting long now in gold. But I am just going to take my 2 doses of medicine that I took, and
Lick
I
your
am going
wounds.
to get some. Exactly, I'm going to get some
Yeah.
good sleep and feel super refreshed in the morning, and I'm gonna kill it tomorrow in the New York session for sure. So
Well, those were tiny. Those are tiny ones anyway. Tiny losses, right? What you got? A 50K account? Is
yeah,
that what you said? Yeah. Yeah.
it's
It was
a
tiny.
100K. It's a 100K account. So
Oh, it's a
there's
100.
a
Oh,
the way
okay.
that yeah. So the 100K accounts, or the way that all the futures accounts work, are 3% max loss and 6% profit target. So basically, I get $3,000 of leeway to the downside, and 6,000 is what I would need to make to pass the account.
Hmm.
Very
Okay.
very doable. Very yeah, and like I'm saying with like trading the micros and stuff, it's more about a consistent trading process than it is about, hey, let's try and pass a challenge and a 1 step challenge in a
Right.
week and be funded.
Yeah.
It's like, let's show some records here. Let's show some trading receipts, and not just some. Let's show a bunch and prove the consistency, and then let's make some money on a funded account. Let's pass it and then make some. But I'm not in a rush to. I'm in no huge rush to pass. Some people feel like that they are in a rush, and I feel like when you are in a rush, you maybe start to overtrade, or you start to let bad trading thoughts get in your head, and maybe make trades that wouldn't be a part of your normal plan, and then it sets you back, and it maybe teaches you bad
Right.
lessons, et cetera, et cetera. So trying to lead by
Yep.
example as much as I can.
Yeah,
But
that's true. Well, hey, we've had a lot thrown at us getting everything set up. So, yeah, this is all starting to settle down. Our streams are looking awesome as far as I can tell. So, just take a week or so to get used to it. For me, it's been the sleep schedule has been my
yeah,
challenge.
yeah, yeah,
We do the
yeah.
3 a.m. sessions, but no, this week's already much better, much more refreshed, and yeah, I can start to concentrate on the trading a little more.
Is the 3 a.m. session, is it Eastern or Central? It's Central?
Uh, Central, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
I
So
usually get
4
out of
a.m.
bed about
Eastern.
2 a.m. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 3 to 7:15 or 4 to 8:15 Central, or 4 to 8:15 Eastern time. What I'm trying to say, but
Yeah. So anybody in the comments or anybody in the chat, if you're able to be up at 4 a.m. Eastern time, we got Coach Tiger, and I know Coach Tiger. It's Coach Tiger, Richard, and Michael, right? You guys all doing the Forex
right,
stuff.
right, and everything's
Um,
available for playback as well, obviously on YouTube.
yeah, definitely. And we're up this trading session. I'll be on at 9:25 ish Eastern time tomorrow morning as well for the morning New York Open. And yeah, so come join. It'll be lots of fun. The morning sessions are always lots of fun and a lot of action going on. So
Yeah, good
appreciate
stuff.
everybody stopping by and hanging with us tonight. And Coach Tiger, awesome. It was a fun night, like usual. And
Yep,
I'll
absolutely.
catch you tomorrow night.
That's right. Yeah. If this
Awesome.
trade sets up, I'll post it on Discord as well. But yeah, not looking too good at the moment. Have a
Beautiful.
good one, everybody.
Beautiful. All right, man. Have a good one, everybody. See ya.
You too, man. Talk to you later.
Hola Prime, trade with transparency.